97.3 City FM. Welcome to our special coverage of election 2024. We're coming to you live from our studios as we set the scene for a very, very crucial day for the people of Ghana. My name is Ben Akoku-Avle. I'm so grateful you've joined us this morning. We are getting straight into it. We'll be bringing you reports from across all 16 regions. We'll be bringing you highlights of the press conferences organized by various important organizations, in particular the Electoral Commission, the leading political parties, civil society groups. We have reporters in every constituency, 276 of them. They will be reporting, they will be collating and sending results. We have a very, very important team we've put in place to compile the numbers and bring you the final result at the end of the process. Thank you for staying with us. We're very, very happy you've joined us this morning. We are very interactive, and so we're urging you to be part of our team in a number of ways. Today you can send WhatsApp messages to 054-998-6996. We're happy to have both audio, video and text messages. And at some point in the day, we'll open the phone lines to hear from you. I will kick off with some highlights from the country. 34 constituencies in Greater Accra. We have reporters in all of them. 23 in the Central Region. We are there as well. 17 in the Western, 9 in the Western North. 47 in Ashanti. 6 in Northeast. 17 in Upper East. 15 in Upper West. Everywhere we are covered. Even the 8 in Savannah, the 10 in Bono East, the 11 in Bono, the 6 in Ahafo, then 8 in Oti, and the 14 in the Volta. All of these covered by your favorite dial, of course. About 32 in the Eastern region as well. Voting is to begin at exactly 7 a.m. We will be at some important polling stations to give you a sense of what's happening. Already queues are forming in some parts of the country. Quite clearly, people are quite eager to vote. 18.7 million registered voters are expected to cast their ballots today in over 40,000 polling stations. 18.7 million voters in over 40,000 polling stations, and we have some 12 presidential aspirants in 276 constituencies, and all of those numbers will be brought to more meaning as the program proceeds. And as we said, it looks like people are very eager to vote this morning because time is only 7 minutes past 6. Voting starts at 7. But already some people have started making their way to polling centers. Some are already in queues. Some have been speaking to us about their eagerness to vote this morning. Let's hear some of them.
Mankasano, because I'm maintenance for moving the MBE, Mempe, Emma, intimate be animal, I say, no what training na mia baby am go bia mia na me di kan bo kwa and no 6 na ko salai me mpeni panodo santi me pese me tome bia na me hu na me yi mia ni pa me peno nti e de ya me mre kesi
then na so kwa so kwa
de so me kwa wo se me kwa ba na se me hwe me de na poro so me nananom nti e wo se me timi e beto aba se de dachi bi no.
Essentially, today is the big day, as we all know.
So we are all here early in the morning to assist the EC by setting up the place to the convenience of all of us, so that at the end of the day you don't come late and then complain of the settings. That's why we are here very early.
Okay. But you as an individual, are you voting?
Yes, I'm voting, even at this very police station.
Okay, is that part of the reason why you want to be part of the early vote, or that's why you are also here?
Not essentially, but the setting, so that I don't have inconvenience of maybe the way the box is placed and later come and complain. Because if you are not here with the setting and you come and complain, they will not listen to you. So essentially that's why I'm here. At the voting, I'm here throughout the day, so I can vote at any time.
Okay. What's the importance of this election to you as an individual, and why would you participate?
It is because we all know the situation now, and then we know the winds, the hot wind that is blowing. So we all decide to do the needful, and it is my civic responsibility to also make sure the right thing is done. And it is by this right that I have to show my voice or my concern of who should rule or who should not rule. Essentially, that's it.
The reason is I don't want trouble. I want to come early so that people will not come later on and come and say, be here, be here. I want to be the first 3, 4, the first 5, 6.
So you came here like around what time?
And I saw something.
4. Okay. Mpacho, what about you too?
I also came early to come and vote and go house and rest. I don't want somebody come and push me up and down because I'm a grown person. So I want to come and vote early and go and rest. I'm waiting for the result. So that's why I come early. I come here around 4 o'clock. I was here around 4 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, more 5 crab, but I said more behind and then now about things are in a ban send out his ebeco.
We bomb pie say NPP baby because maybe people in my new site cry and Madura. And you have been percent free HSC.
Into our band things.
It's our band time, no me.
Okay.
If I drop in Adria.
So those were voices from a number of constituencies here in the Greater Accra region of voters already queuing up in places like Tema West, in Ladade Kotokpon, even in Okainkwe here. So quite clearly, people are very excited to vote. Don't forget the numbers. 7 a.m. voting officially starts. 18,770,000 registered voters. Over 40,000 polling stations across 276 constituencies. And we are looking to choose 2 categories of people: a president for the Republic and members of parliament as well. We're interactive. We're live on 97.3 CTFM. My name is Ben Adavle, and today it's going to be a long 2 days. We're hoping that you will stay with us throughout the period. We're already receiving some of your messages. 054-998-699. So we want to do this with you. So you tell us what you're observing. Tell us what you're seeing. Let's hear from you from across the country. I'll be joined later on by Godfred Akotoboa, for my colleague. Some of my team members have already been to town. They'll come back and tell me what they've heard and seen, so that you will know accurately what's going on this morning. And by the way, today is Saturday, the 7th of December. It's the day we've all been waiting for. And my production team has been here since dawn. I don't know if Hawa slept at all. So I'll be joined by Godfred Akotoboa in studio, and I'll be here till 10. When I'm done, Caleb Kuda and Richard Sky will take over. Of course, a lot of journalists were unable to vote in the special voting because for some reason the arrangement made between the GJA and the EC did not really work. So majority of journalists are voting today. Typically, journalists are part of special voters because we report this election. So apart from the security services who usually vote on special voting days, journalists also typically tend to vote. But what's happening is that this time around, a lot of journalists are voting today. So I will be voting when I get off air at 10. Some of my colleagues are already in voting queues, wanting to vote quite early. so that they will give us their full attention for the rest of the day. I'm going to give you a few quick headlines from around the various news portals. What are the big stories? So if you go to citynewsroom.com, Ghana decides Bawumia Mahama face off in pivotal election. That's the big story. In other stories, boost border vigilance against smuggling of non-Ghanaians. Miracles to immigration. This is the spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia. In other stories, image of Stonebwoy in NDC shirt doctored. This is from the City Verify fact-checking team. So there's an trending image of musician Stonebwoy in an NDC t-shirt, and the team has found that this image was doctored. In other stories, the president addressed the nation last night, and he says, let's protect Ghana's democratic status in Africa, Akufo-Addo to Ghanaians. He also says, trust EC to deliver transparent polls. Those are comments from the president. In other stories, Mahama accuses EC of exposing serial numbers on validating stamps. Yesterday, the former president made a post on his Facebook page, and he made some very serious allegations. We'll go into some of these stories later on. For now, I'm just giving you the headlines. Other headlines for the morning: Ashanti region, alleged NDC supporters disrupt party press conference. This is very interesting indeed. So this was a press conference being organized by party leadership of the NDC in response to some developments, and their supporters were unhappy with the party in Ashanti region's leadership for the way they were handling the matter. Meanwhile, God will judge our actions, Jean Mensah tells EC officials. So that's quite profound. Let me read that. This is the Electoral Commission chairperson, Mrs. Jean Mensah, and the story reads that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission has urged electoral officials to uphold integrity and professionalism in the upcoming elections. In an address on Thursday, December 5, the EC chair emphasized the crucial role that officials play in ensuring a fair and transparent electoral process. Quote, as the Commission has already indicated, our collective roles, yours and ours, is not to make anybody a president or a member of parliament. Ours is to conduct orderly, credible, fair, and highly professional and efficient elections. That is what we've been employed to do, and that is what we have employed you to do. In doing so, we charge you to do it with integrity and to let the truth guide you. Still quoting the chair, be fair in all your dealings, be transparent, and above board, follow the directions provided you by the Commission, including the wearing of gloves before counting of votes, the posting of pink sheets in all polling stations, among others. Count the votes accurately and fill out the forms professionally, Mrs. Mensah stated. She stressed the significance of the presiding officers' roles and their work at the polling stations, which culminates with the pink sheets determining the election's outcome. Jean Mensah urged officials of the EC to perform their duties with integrity and truth, guided by God's light. Your roles as presiding officers, and here I'm talking about presiding officers, and your work at the polling stations, which culminates in the pink sheets, is what determines the outcome of the election. We urge you to do it with integrity and truth, and let God's light guide you. Let us all remember, you and us alike, that at the end of the day, we will be answerable to God for our actions and our activities. Let us remember that God will judge us for all we do, the chairperson of the EC added. All right, so that was the EC Chair Jean Mensah, a story on citynewsroom.com. I will bring you more stories, but as you heard earlier from those voices that we played, people are already queuing. It's 17 minutes past 6, and indeed, these voices we brought to you were recorded before 6 a.m. Adjoa Tinkrama Domina has been, what have you been doing? Gallivanting?
So yes, I woke up around 3
and
went to some of the polling centers in my constituency before coming to the office. So the first place I got to was around 4 a.m. and people were already in queue. I could count
4 a.m.
Yes, 4 a.m. And they had been there for a long time, actually. So one lady I spoke to said she came all the way from Pobiman because it's far. She's
so you're talking Trobu area?
Yes, Trobu area.
The Trobu, so Pokwasi area?
Yes, Pokwasi area. But she votes in Dome Kwabenya, so she had to come very early so that she's not late.
And she's been there from 4 a.m.
Exactly. And you know the numbers in Domingo Abenya are huge.
183,000.
Exactly. So everybody wants to come early enough so that they vote and leave. So that was what I saw at some of the polling centers. For one woman, for instance, she said she carried all her children to come and then cast their ballots and leave.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. So on your drive, did you see other queues forming, or this is just the polling stations you went to?
So I saw 2 queues forming. So there's another Church of Christ polling center where there was another long queue that was forming as well. I could count roughly about 9 people in the queue, but around the station, the Trotro station, you could see some people also coming in, because the station is another polling center where the market area is. So this is Taifa that I'm talking about. So the queues were forming even as at 4 a.m. that I was coming in.
You know, the area you went through has some of the most densely populated constituencies. So Domingo Abenya has 183,000 voters. Amasaman has 169,000, and they are neighbors. Now the other neighbor is Trobu, 144,000. All right, and then that's not too far from Anyaso to 143,000.
These are very huge numbers.
So I don't know, but what about vehicular movement though? Did you see? Because yesterday I was quite surprised there were a few cars on the road, but I don't know about today because they're quite early. Did you see a lot of vehicles? So
it was largely free. Movement was free. There was not a lot of vehicles. In fact, at the stations, people were actually queuing there.
In the stations as well, which means that some people are going to be traveling.
Exactly. So there was not a lot of vehicles around. I do not know if it was because it was that early. Because Taifa, usually at 4 a.m. you should see cars moving, even those going to Accra and Amasama and all of that. But today it wasn't like that.
One of the interesting things we have this year is that for the first time, the election comes after a holiday.
Yes.
Which means that a lot of people were able to travel. Yesterday, I took a short trip to parts of the central region.
Okay.
And there were a fair few vehicles on the road. So it suggests to me that the holiday may help people go vote where they actually want to vote, because a lot of people work in Accra and Kumasi but may not actually vote there.
Exactly.
So we need to keep a close eye on the movement of people between yesterday and today and how it will affect voting. The other issue was in Kumasi. I know there was a big discussion about whether markets should open.
Yes.
I don't know if the markets in Accra are going to open.
Well, Taifa market is always open during the election. They always open. They don't joke with their money. So it's always open. But usually what the women do is that they come very early, go and vote, and then they can go and continue their business. So I'm looking forward to that happening today as well.
What's your plan for the day? What's your role today? What are you doing today?
Well, so I am producing.
Oh my God.
I'm doing production.
You're going to be producing?
Yes, I'm doing production.
Will you go and vote at any point?
Yes, I have to vote at Taifa. So
you go back?
Yes,
which means you identify your polling station?
Yes. I vote at the Church of Pentecost Central Polling Station.
Maybe you should do an interview from there when you get there.
Exactly.
Talk to your presiding officer. I see. So Taifa. Taifa, for those who don't know Accra, Taifa is part of Domingo Abenya.
Yes.
So on the Accra Kumasi Road, if you leave at Chimota going to sort of in Sawam, Taifa is on your right.
On your right.
So it's
right after Tantra.
After Tantra.
Yes.
I see. So when you're driving, you do Achimota ABC. There's also mile 7 at some point.
There's mile 7 before. So Achimota ABC mile 7. Then you get to St. John's. Then you get to Tantra. And then you get to Taifa.
Amazing.
Yes.
And people are already in the queue at 4 a.m.
It's going to be a long day.
My goodness. It's going to be a long 2 days.
A long 2 days, actually, yes. We hope that the results will be declared in time so that we
can go and sleep.
I know.
You don't want to know the time I woke up. When you have big things to do, you don't sleep. So thank you. We've been talking to Adjoa Tinkrama Domina, who's visitors on polling stations, and she says as early as 4 a.m. people had already started queuing in some polling stations in Accra. That indicates determination. That indicates civic duty. Let's hear from you. 054-998-6996. Are you going to vote? When will you vote? Where will you vote? All right. We don't want you to tell us who you vote for. That we will know at the end of the day. But for now, we want to know how ready you are in terms of voting, whether you have your voter ID card, and whether you are eager to cast your ballot. We've deployed a big team across the country, so we have reporters and volunteers in 276 constituencies who will be bringing us reports and results. I'm going to take you back on air So our Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani is already on the line. I'm not sure if he slept at all.